The Xbox and Bethesda Games Showcase of 2022 was absolutely overflowing with announcements of additions to Game Pass, from day one releases to much requested favourites. Here's a look at everything from the showcase coming to Game Pass.
PC Game Pass is teaming up with Riot Games for a collaboration that promises to be, well, legendary. League of Legends is of course the massively popular battle arena game in which all sorts of supernatural champions divvy themselves up into teams of 5 and duke it out on an isometric battlefield. The roster is stacked with over 140 outlandish characters, and now Game Pass members will have access to every single one of them, sad little mummy included. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. Game Pass members will also get access to all of the champions for the series' mobile spin-off, Wild Rift. On top of that, they'll get the foundation set to help them out in Riot's card game, Legends of Runeterra, and have some of those adorable little legends already unlocked in Teamfight Tactics.
But that's not all from Game Pass and Riot, because not only is the incredible Valorant coming to Game Pass, but so is every single agent in the game. This frenetic FPS brings together fighters from all over the world, each with a unique set of abilities that allow you to fight in totally different ways. Hailing from China, Sage acts as a great wall between her team and the enemy. The UK's Phoenix throws out goodness gracious great balls of fire to take down his enemies in dazzling style, and the German genius Killjoy has a gadget for every occasion. Every agent is so bursting with personality and potential that you'll want to give them all a try, and thanks to Game Pass, you can.
Redfall first appeared on our radar during last year's Xbox and Bethesda showcase, and to be perfectly honest, we haven't stopped thinking about it since. This open-world FPS takes place in what was once a sleepy island town, which has now been overrun with vampires. Shudder to think what that's going to do to the TripAdvisor reviews. The showcase introduced us to some new vamp-slaying gameplay, as well as the characters you'll play as to fight back. As a next-gen exclusive, you can expect Redfall to be just dripping with gothic charms and stunning scenery. Whether you're looking for your next great solo adventure or a co-op journey to share with your friends, Redfall should be right at the top of your list when it hits Game Pass in 2023.
This one has been a long time coming, but by the looks of the Hollow Knight Silksong trailer, we'd say it's going to be well worth the wait. The follow-up to the acclaimed 2D action platformer sees the knight's frenemy Hornet taking over as the main character. Having been rudely kidnapped and taken to a far-off kingdom, Hornet is rightly miffed and is determined to battle her way towards some answers. Thanks to its nimbler protagonist, the combat in Silksong promises to be even more fast and furious, while Hornet also boasts a variety of silky special skills that we can't wait to get our hands on. While Silksong won't be arriving until next year, you can get to grips with this awesome side-scrolling series right now by checking out the original Hollow Knight on Xbox Game Pass.
A brand new game was announced at the showcase that's coming in just a matter of months is High on Life, a sci-fi FPS which just seems drenched in a delightfully weird. That does make sense though, considering the fact it's coming from Squanch Games, i.e. the same folks who created Rick and Morty. This surreal shooter involves using guns and weapons that talk to you as you use them, because they're actually aliens called Gatlians, who you use to get back at an alien cartel harvesting humans. We can't wait to get our hands on this oddball fest, but luckily, we won't have to wait long as it's coming straight to Game Pass in October of this year.
One of the biggest Day 1 additions currently lined up for Xbox Game Pass this year has to be sequel A Plague Tale Requiem, and the showcase only made our excitement for the sequel even more infectious thanks to a brand new gameplay trailer. Members can already check out the original game to see why we're so excited. Although it shouldn't take them long, this sinister tale of a girl's desperate attempt to protect her young brother in a war-torn, plague-infested land is one of the most enthralling and atmospheric games on Xbox. With a wide array of new tools at your disposal and a whole new chapter in the story to devour, we cannot wait for Requiem to hit Game Pass this year.
Zooming in as a Day 1 release next spring, Forza Motorsport absolutely blew us away at the Xbox and Bethesda showcase. Coming almost 6 years since we last got our hands on a Forza Motorsport title, it's been worth the wait. The development team have made a truly next-gen racing experience, using techniques like ray tracing on track and photogrammetry to create the most technically advanced racing game ever made. I mean, just look at these reflections. Stunning. Spring 2023 can't come quick enough.
Another huge game that came swooping onto Xbox Game Pass just last year actually was the console version of Microsoft Flight Simulator, allowing Xbox Series X and S players to enjoy soaring through the skies right along their PC comrades. And would you believe that this November marks the series' 40th anniversary? To celebrate, we've got a raft of new content on the Arrivals board scheduled to touch down onto Game Pass on November 22nd of this year. This includes all new aircraft historical favourites like the Spirit of St. Louis all the way to modern day gliders and even helicopters and seaplanes. But as of right now, you can fly the UNSC aircraft of your dreams with a special new Halo Infinite expansion drop. Just wait until we've given you the rest of the games on this list to jump in though, alright?
The showcase also debuted our first look at Ara History Untold. This time-hopping turn-based strategy comes from the creators of Civilization, one of the biggest strategy franchises of all time. So while we don't know too much about Ara History Untold beyond its gorgeous trailer talking us through history, we know the history of the folks who made it makes it a must-play when it hits PC Game Pass on day one next year.
Bethesda also brought the goods at this year's showcase with the announcement that the 13th major expansion to Fallout 76 would be arriving this autumn. The Pit kicks off a new game mode called Expeditions, which will take players to a new part of the game's world to take part in repeatable, story-driven missions. In this case, it involves hopping on an underground train to the ruins of a mystical place we once called Pittsburgh, a location that will already be quite familiar to fans of Fallout 3. Between the irradiated water mutating everybody and an arena called The Hole where folks have to fight for their lives, it's not exactly a great vacation, but we can't wait to get there with Game Pass in September.
If the recent Jurassic World film has got you in the mood for some prehistoric fun, then set your sights on the Ark 2, which will be stomping its way onto Xbox Game Pass as a day one release in 2023. We saw a brand new trailer at the showcase which featured gorgeous surroundings and Vin Diesel riding a dinosaur. What more could you need to get you excited?
You know what, Cyberpunk and Steampunk are out, and Biopunk is very much in. Case in point, Scorn. We got a look at some brand new gameplay for this squirmy sci-fi FPS at the showcase, with the tunnels of flesh and tendrils you'll be walking through, and the malformed creatures you'll be blasting to pieces with guns that appear to be carved out of bone. In short, this one is not for the squeamish. But for everyone else, Scorn looks like it's going to provide a totally singular experience when it arrives day one onto both Xbox and PC Game Pass on the newly announced date of October 21st. Next up, we've got yet another massive day one Game Pass release drifting over the horizon in early 2023, Flintlock: The Siege of Dawn. This stunning new action RPG sees you playing as a heroic warrior with a vendetta against the gods. You'll team up with a magical fox and wield magical powers like soaring through the sky. To help in the fight, you'll have gunpowder-based arms and a good old-fashioned axe to see if some combination of the two can overcome those pesky deities. We can't wait to dive into this stunning new world in early 2023.
Speaking of stunning new worlds, we're getting a new look at one we're already very familiar with, a brand new game from Mojang set in the blockiest universe around, named Minecraft Legends. In what is being described as an action strategy game, you must unite the overworld, including the zombies, creepers, and skeletons who have long plagued your previous quests, in a fight for its life against the nefarious Porky Piglins from the Nether. Minecraft Legends is coming day one to Game Pass when it lands in 2023, and it can't come quick enough.
The problem with a lot of farming games is that they don't involve nearly enough mech suits. Fortunately, Lightyear Frontier is here to put that right. In this spacey, open-world farming adventure, you'll get to stomp around on your very own agricultural paradise using your high-tech equipment to build up your farm, fighting the dynamic weather and changing seasons. Most importantly, you'll get to do all of this to the sound of a knee-slapping cosmic country soundtrack when Lightyear Frontier lands in spring 2023 straight onto Game Pass.
Few games keep you guessing quite like Gunfire Reborn, rolling FPS and RPG elements into a looping roguelike structure. No two runs are quite the same, with totally different weapons, heroes, and enemies appearing each time around. Every time you die, it's like you're starting a whole new game. The cel-shaded art style and the charming character design will have you excited to find out who you're going to meet on your next adventure, while the 100 plus different weapons and items you can collect along the way open up a ton of different build possibilities. It's making its console debut in October of this year and straight onto Game Pass as well.
Fans of JRPGs rejoice. Game Pass will be getting 3 titles from the hugely acclaimed JRPG series, Persona. Persona 3 Portable, Persona 4 Golden, and Persona 5 Royal will all be arriving starting with the 5th game on October 21st. For those not clued in on this award-winning series, each game revolves around a group of high schoolers who spend their days doing, usual teenager stuff like going to class. But when night falls, they fight against legions of shadows by conjuring physical manifestations of their own psyches known as personas. With a bold anime art style, complex emotional storyline, and a rich, lived-in world that's as much fun just to loiter about in as it is to battle your way through, we just can't wait to jump in.
Another intriguing title coming to Game Pass in spring of 2023 is the Lovecraftian side-scroller The Last Case of Benedict Fox. Gothic mansions, murky depths, and tentacles await in this side-scrolling adventure which sees you tussling with monsters who are very keen on killing you. The Last Case may well be a very fitting moniker. We can't wait to jump from chandelier to chandelier and solve monstrous mysteries when The Last Case of Benedict Fox hits Game Pass in spring of 2023 on day 1 of its release.
As Dusk Falls begins in the late 90s with a robbery gone wrong. What happens from there is up to you, with the lives of 2 families changing depending on the choices you make. This interactive drama takes place in a small town in Arizona with a story that spans across 3 whole decades with a beautiful watercolor visual style. Over such a long period of time, you'll find it's not just the big life or death decisions you make that have a profound impact upon the story. The little choices you make along the way will slowly add up and eventually determine what kind of people each of the characters turn out to be. The Xbox and Bethesda showcase gave us a date for As Dusk Falls, and it's very soon indeed, on the 19th of July, straight onto Game Pass.
From quiet emotional adventures to absolute carnage, Naraka Blade Point will be joining the fray on Xbox and PC Game Pass as of June 23rd. This madcap melee brawler lets up to 60 players at a time go toe-to-toe for a bout of intense, agile combat. But don't be mistaken, this is no chaotic button basher. Naraka Blade Point features a deep and nuanced combat system with dozens of moves to master and a tight focus on clever movement and tactical fighting. If you really want to test your mettle as a martial artist, Naraka Blade Point will provide you with the perfect battlefield in just a matter of days from now on Xbox and PC Game Pass.
The showcase gave us a world premiere look at Obsidian Entertainment's newest game title, Pentiment, and we couldn't be more intrigued. The game sees your character wandering through a beautifully woven medieval tapestry, building your own character's rich history, and seemingly trying to solve a murder mystery in the land of peasants, monks, and dungeons. Game Pass subscribers will be able to live out their very own medieval mystery very soon indeed, as Pentiment ascends to the service on day 1 of its release in November of 2022.
For a game that's already shown off numerous awesome updates and reached some 10 million players, it's crazy to think that Grounded hasn't even shown us its true form, until now. This survival game shrinks you down to the size of a bug or a borrower and leaves you to fend for yourself in the vast, deadly expanse of some guy's backyard. While spiders and wasps used to be a minor annoyance, they're now a terrifying threat to your life, so you'd better get crafting if you don't want to end up in a tiny, tiny grave. The final game brings us the full story and what looks like thrilling new gameplay, and we can't wait to shrink down in the yard once again in September of this year on Game Pass.
From the creators of Sable comes Ereban Shadow Legacy, a stealth game set in a world taken over by militant murder bots. Luckily, you're Ereban, imbued with the peculiar ability to become a shadow, as well as a sword coming out of your hand. Very useful. This looks like an utterly gorgeous challenge that we cannot wait to tackle when it hits Game Pass on day one of its release next year.
Next year also sees the release of Ravenlock, an adventure game that is unlike anything we've ever seen before. A strange Alice in Wonderland-like world awaits a young child as they get dragged through a mirror, a land populated by creepy jesters, giant cats, and steampunk robots. Something for everybody. Luckily, this is yet another game coming directly to Game Pass on day one of its release next year, so we won't have to wait long before we're through the looking glass.
Another exciting exclusive came in the form of Cocoon, a new game from the creator of Inside and Limbo. This does look considerably brighter than those previous two games, with the alien worlds you find yourself solving orb-based puzzles on providing a burst of delicious colour and a good degree of head-scratching. We can't wait to try to crack it when it hits Game Pass on day one in 2023.
The epic Wolong Fallen Dynasty looks grotesquely beautiful. Katana's swinging action awaits within a mythical Japan featuring horrible monsters, burning cities, and a dragon for good measure. All we know is that it looks stunning, and we can't wait to slash our way through the game when it hits Game Pass on day one in early 2023.
Space travel has always been about looking off into the distance and letting your imagination run wild with possibilities. While Starfield might feel impossibly far off at this moment, we cannot wait to see what it holds when it hits Xbox Game Pass next year. The showcase blew us away by showing us the latest RPG from a studio that knows a thing or two about them. Starfield looks set to take Bethesda fans all over the galaxy and then some. It takes place in a not too distant future where humanity has spread its wings and colonized a range of planets around our own solar system. But that still leaves so many more for you to explore. Whether you're looking to become a notorious pirate, a wealthy corporatist, or a free-spirited space cowboy, Starfield looks like it's going to lay out a whole galaxy's worth of possibilities before you and let you take flight.
So those were the games announced at the Xbox and Bethesda Game Showcase 2022 that are coming straight to Game Pass, but that's just the tip of the iceberg. Which are you looking forward to most? Let us know down in the comments below, and for everything Xbox, keep subscribed to Xbox On, and we'll see you next time.